but I think is starting to find its footing as we get about halfway through this year. Let's see if he can get over some of those mental hurdles that you mentioned.
Yeah, Flower has been kind of like a true blue Yumiko main. Some people have splashed into the Yumiko scene, but it's really been Flower who's been on this Yumiko. But we're already seeing more love as the South Americans also bringing out. I think Kaina was playing that Yumiko yesterday. Offstage opportunity here. Flower not going to go too deep there, not going to threaten with that recovery or gravity cancel Ensig just yet. Instead, just taking away space with that down sig.
Yeah, and this is the exact reason I love Flower on this pick, right? Like, the space control that you get with Yumiko's signature kit is insane, right? Like, look at how easy that setup was. It forced Hybrid into such an awkward position. Now Flower just gets to go coast to coast, reset once again, easy pickup for first stock.
Yeah, he's just covering those corners, and that's really tough if you're trying to get past it, because you have to find the right timing to slip up underneath that wisp. There you see it. Hybrid able to get underneath it. That wisp does travel high enough that you can walk under it, but you got to get that timing right.
Yeah, one of the rare characters I would say in Brawlhalla is pretty big cast that has a lot of really unique setup, right? Like with those wisps. You don't see that with a ton of other legends in the cast. So Flower masterfully using the kit. The ground pound will come through from Hybrid though, but Flower navigates around it.
Yeah, one of basically two kind of trap signature characters that just kind of put those signatures out there, and they don't really do too much, but they're able to follow up if you get hit by it.
So we'll see, can Flower hang on to this stock for a couple more hits, gets all three of the wisps for just one quick follow-up after the fact. Weapon throw comes through, but the re-pickup means Hybrid gets at least a punish. It might be a stock as well if the pogo comes through. Instead, it's a weapon throw down.
Yeah, Hybrid trying to play it a little bit safe there. Ends up getting a down air there from Flower, but down light, ground pound, and Hybrid down to his final stock here in game number one.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie about that. That was a pretty brutal position that Hybrid kind of put himself in there by going there. Easy off-the-wall weapon toss means you're pretty much every angle is cut off at that point. GC D-Light into ground pound, picks up that stock. In the meanwhile, Hybrid does get one back, but work definitely cut out for him.
All right, now we're going to see some bow play coming out from Flower. Like, basically the first two stocks were all about that hammer. I'm curious to see how this bow does.
Okay. Just a couple back and forth. And I mean, again, even exchanges like this are really favored for Flower, but we will see that big signature off the right side, sets up the traps once again. The weapon toss was a perfect setup. That top right, or top left angle, excuse me, wasn't going to find its mark, and that nair was so necessary to keep Hybrid in this game.
Dude, he's doing a really good job of setting up these traps with the bow and with the hammer. That side air, not quite enough to do it, but man, Hybrid running out of tools here once again. Ground pounds on that side wall, but it's going to be a scoop up, and Flower takes game number one.
All right. I mean, I like what I'm seeing. I mean, with the exception of that awkward second stock from Hybrid, there's not a lot of data for us to work for. I think Hybrid put himself in a weird spot in that second stock, and he just lost it way too early. We do see it on the replay right now. Easy pickup. You have to burn the dodge, otherwise you get hit by the weapon toss, and then it's just GCD like ground pound. So Flower, a pretty firm lead to work with. If I'm in Hybrid shoes, I'm kind of like, don't do that again. Don't put myself in that position. Try to go a little bit safer and don't get caught up in the traps that Yumiko can set up.
And we're over to Demon Island. I am of the opinion that Hybrid needs to get some soft platforms in there. Flower's taken up a lot of space, like that hammer down sig was just covering that whole corner. If you got the soft platforms, you got other places you can get onto the stage from. But instead, Demon Island, no platforms. Hybrid's just got to play the neutral better.
Yeah, not to mention just another angle of recovery to get around the wisp that Flowers will inevitably set up. But yeah, like you said, not the situation we're in for game number two. So let's see if Hybrid can make some moves.
You see Flower just staying right underneath, able to deny that weapon as Hybrid did throw away the gauntlets. Hammer there. Hybrid not going to take the bait.
Does get one, tries to get the anti-air, but a pogo is a little bit of a get out of trouble option until Flower gets the stomp Sair.
Ooh, Hybrid lucky there, able to downlight over that side signature from Flower. Flower is still hitting that neutral air.
Oh, wow, really expecting the landing now, Flower.
This could be big.
Yeah, I think just like a bit expecting to shark out landings from Hybrid, just maybe conditioned from that first game, knowing that he was getting away with a lot of that stuff. Flower caught sleeping at the wheel for a moment, and Hybrid gets first strike now.
Yeah, Hybrid's doing a really good job of kind of over-spacing on those landings, but Flower's still able to snipe him out with that neutral signature. Option of weapon here, it's going to be the bow.
Ooh, okay, goes for the double. Not too much more damage. Hybrid gets a turn, looks for the cross-up. Not too much more after that, but Flower off stage, sets up the wisp. This is pretty awkward again. How does he navigate back? Okay, just a nice little hit from Flower, and that's all she wrote to reset.
You know, as far as getting back onto the stage, that is a decent trade for Hybrid. He could have taken so much more, and now he's getting some good hits in, but Flower stays high there, doesn't get caught by the down sig, but the neutral sig will get him. Edgeguard opportunity.
Okay. Hybrid was positioning that edgeguard really well. I like that he didn't pull the trigger, so maybe that makes Flower a little bit apprehensive next time he gets pushed off stage. Could be right here. Okay, yeah, now he goes for the ground pound. I love that from Hybrid, even though it didn't work out.
Yeah, a little bit of a threat there. Flower not able to punish. Hybrid does come down into the neutral light, though. Gets in there. Down sig, charged even for a little bit there as Flower gets launched, but still not enough. The Sair will guarantee the KO. Hybrid looking better.
Yeah, and I think you had said specifically getting underneath the Wisps is a really big deal versus Yumiko. Hybrid, I guess his out was let's charge the signature for a little bit, and I'll be underneath it for the entire time. It works out. Hybrid's got almost a full stock lead now. Hang on. Oh.
He's got a Sair, but it's not enough height, and that is going to be Flower even things up.
Yeah, just like that. That is a crazy turnaround from Flower. I really feel like Hybrid could have extended that lead a lot further. Once again, the offstage positioning has been a little bit awkward, probably Flower favored for the most part, for as much work Hybrid has done in this game.
Hybrid really just staying right above Flower.
Okay, waiting for the jump. Okay, Flower threading the needle for just a little bit. Hybrid, though, gets the pickup with the Nair, maybe optioning for the gravity cancel, but keeps it going with the recovery. It's enough to disarm.
The downlight catching the landing of Flower there. Flower over to the other hammer. Here's the side air. Down sig to cover space. Goes for the ground bound Hybrid. He touches back. He's got jumps. He's going to be okay for a moment here, but he disarms himself. Wait, they're still active. He can pick him back up.
Holy, how did he get it? Was like a spectral ghost just handed the item over to him, said, here, put the gauntlets on, just for him to get disarmed. That's a whiff punish, but the Sair comes through and Hybrid finds the game. What?
He sneaks that one out there. Such a scramble, but so many things just kind of fall into place correctly for Hybrid in that final moment. I was talking about, like, he did a weapon toss to the left, and then coincidentally the battle went left, and he's like, oh, this is the things that I threw away. I can still pick these back up, and the sequence just kind of continued on from there.
I mean, hey, one man's trash, the same person's treasure, something along those lines. Hybrid made it work. That was a crazy, like, I don't know if that was an intentional bait it or not, but it works, right? Yeah. And it got Hybrid the game. What an insane back and forth match. And I was going to say, what do you think the difference maker is in terms of Hybrid taking one? But we can kind of look at the charts and get a little bit of an answer for it.
I mean, in pure numbers, it's the gauntlets. For me, it's the positioning. A lot of his positioning was like right above Flower, especially when Flower has the hammer, because hammer doesn't have the really easy straight up and down anti-air. Hybrid's doing this thing of just being right above Flower, and Flower's trying to catch that landing. He throws out an attack, and then Hybrid's like, okay, here's my chance. Just come in with a dare, try to land down, hit a down light, and start going for my sequences.
Yeah, so I think, honestly, running it back to this stage, kind of fine. You had talked about perhaps the issues from Hybrid side to not have soft platforms. He just won pretty much outright with movement. So now when he gets counter picks in the following game, assuming he might lose this game, might be a little bit better in terms of just respecting Yumiko's options.
For sure. Here we go, though. Game number 3. Hybrid was able to take game number 2 with some fantastic gauntlet play. Over to the corner here. Hybrid baits him down, goes for the Nair, but Flower stays below him and up tosses to guarantee some safety.
Chase dodge down is nasty work. I can't, like, going for that when you're practically at white is insane to me, but Hybrid really wanted to try to fish for that stock early, make it count, but we got to go to neutral once again.
Okay, good Nair, covers the dodge in. Flower that time will catch the landing, and Hybrid has been out in the open air for a minute, does get the wall touch.
Okay, does Flower go for another Wisp setup? No, Hybrid once again sneaking underneath. So now I wonder, does Flower start to read that a little bit as he picks up first strike with an off-the-top KO?
Gonna juggle weapons here for a moment. Here's the weapon spawn.
Okay, just exchanging single hits so far, Flower. Not really getting too many more meaningful hits. Hybrid wanted to get the anti-air, but not much more after that. Wow, I mean, the respect from both players has just been insane so far, especially considering Flower is working with the stock lead. For Hybrid needs to do something.
Yeah, I think Flower is totally comfortable just saying, like, okay, we'll play this poking game. Like, I have the stock advantage. Any damage you put onto this one, I'm kind of okay with as long as I'm putting damage onto your second stock. And that's basically what's happening. Like, Flower hits a neutral light, Hybrid hits maybe a side light, and it's just these single hit trade outs.
I think the other thing, too, as you said, it was a Gauntlets masterclass. It will be Sair into Weapon Toss to equalize the stock number, but look at how much damage Hybrid took, and almost all of it was while he had the spear equipped.
You're seeing jockeying for positions. Flower scoop up almost puts Hybrid off screen, so Hybrid's got to recognize, yeah, that stomp side air is going to be dangerous, and now Flower has 2 stocks basically whole over Hybrid.
Yeah, I think Hybrid needs to get on Gauntlets and early damage. This is a great little sequence if he can make it extend a little bit further, but the recovery didn't connect, and now he's in a really bad spot. That was a couple just sharking moves from Flower to keep him in the air for a little bit longer. Now it's edge guard position.
Hybrid with the Sair coming down, weapon tossing, wants to swap over the Gauntlets like we were talking about. Corner guard, but the side air puts him away.
Okay, calls it.
This could be bad. Hybrid running out of movement, and Flower sees the sweat beads. That's going to be game 3 going the way of Flower.
Yeah, if game 2 was, you know, a great showing of Hybrid's Gauntlet movement and specifically like how well he was playing Gauntlets into the Yumiko matchup, game 3 was just a masterclass from Flowers on pacing, right?
Yeah.
We saw so many interactions where, again, Yumiko can kind of be more of a trap legend that we get here, setting up what she needs to do and making sure Hybrid was pressing the buttons first so that Flower could make the punishes happen.
Yeah, and it was a really good adjustment from Flower. Again, like Hybrid was kind of playing aerial, so Flower's like, I got a really quick anti-air right here with this bow neutral. I also threw in, when he was on the hammer, those quick jump down airs as kind of a response to the way that Hybrid was playing. I'm curious how Hybrid's going to adjust here as we get into game number 4.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with you. Like you brought up before, I'm curious as to why we're going Demon Island as opposed to introducing a soft platform or two. But regardless, let's see if Hybrid can make it a Game 5 situation.
Okay, comes in, hits the neutral light. Trying to keep him on that corner there. Nice gravity cancel down light from Flower, gets him back onto the stage.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the movement that Hybrid really needs to capitalize, specifically with the Gauntlets, to compete with how Flower has just been slowing the tempo down.
Ooh, neutral light gonna miss there for Flower. He's in the air. There was a burn dodge, but Hybrid not able to react in time.
This is where Flower can make a lot of damage happen, but Hybrid does touch it down. The Nair to just get the stacked position off of him. Signature gets one off the right side. It's enough to disarm. Does Hybrid go all the way out there? No, it's a reset, and there's just an easy aerial. Oh, no! What a reversal!
Both of them going for recoveries, trying to get those stage spikes. Flower the first one to get a weapon. This could be bad for Hybrid. Able to pick up a spear. He was really delaying it. Goes underneath, but he N6 straight into the Wisp, but that might have helped him out a little bit. Recovery, Flower able to finally get the first KO.
I can't believe that Flower got first stock there, right? I mean, right at the finish line, Hybrid, right ideas all the way through, but Flower somehow makes it through. A recovery from Hybrid will equalize the stock, but I don't know, man. I mean, that's a crazy reversal to get your first strike stolen away from you.
Yeah, I mean, Hybrid had such a strong position, but just couldn't get that final blow. Like, he got that gauntlet down there, and I thought for sure he was going to just, like, weapon toss and try to checkmate Flower, but just wasn't able to tap that one in. Now we're on second stocks, and so far things relatively even. There's, again, the Wisps taking up space.
Ooh, okay, chase dodge away. No real follow-up. Weapon throw to just initiate. Hybrid gets the offstage. He's looking for nice. Flower, a little bit more movement left. It's going to be one more mix-up, but expecting Flower to jump up early, and Hybrid doesn't connect. Flower, another shot.
Gauntlets.
Oh, he waited too.
Yep, doesn't react in time, though. Hybrid just going to cover this corner. Thought he was going to jump over it. Spot dodges underneath the Wisps. Flower currently unarmed, but similar situation to the first stocks. Hybrid has a good spot, but he needs to finish the stock.
Ooh, throws the weapon away, probably expecting that one to connect onto Hybrid so he could just re-grab it, go for any punish, but instead Hybrid flips the situation. Small weapon starve, but in the red means it's just one conversion away for Flower, and there's the weapon he wants.
Good scoop up there from Flower, evens things up. I wish I could get into the head of Hybrid right now, because he's been doing this thing where it's like deep red, he'll go for a sidelight and then just kind of watch what happens. Usually it's like, okay, Gauntlet player learning, they're gonna start going for reads, but mostly Hybrid's like, I'm hoping I can just react to whatever thing happens out.
You got to see, yeah, I mean, we're seeing the first attacks go pretty well for Hybrid, all things considered. This is good follow-up hit as well, especially when the gauntlets are online. But yeah, like burn dodge situation, and Hybrid just doesn't pull the trigger on it. Falling down. Flower looking for another opportunity here. Traded weapon throws, but they do get their weapons back at the very least.
It's underneath. Turn around. Neutralite.
Ground pound.
Oh! Tries to sneak that one over, but you know what? Didn't take any damage for it.
Uh-oh. I don't know if this is a favorable matchup now for Hybrid. This could be rough. Has to just look for an anti-air. I was going to say it was the D-Light coming up soon from Hybrid, but a little bit too late on it, and it is just an easy 1-2 scoop up from Flower to close that one out with a 3-1.
Thumbs down. Coming out from Hybrid. He felt some sort of way about the way that last one ended. I feel like Hybrid made a little bit of a mistake there. Going over to the Sphere, his Spear's fine, but really in that like final moment in game number 4, it was like he did side sig, and sig, and then I think he tried to go for one more sig, and I was like, bro, just like, maybe just try to get some more damage before you're just